Hello everyone, we are in the garage because the weather is not very nice outside and a few people have asked, so I thought I'll do a review of the Abba stand. Now this is an Abba stand, Abba Skylift, but I have got the storage unit as a Christmas present, which allows you to nicely mount the stand and all its bits and allows you to move it around. So anyone who's seen one of these, they're cumbersome and heavy if they're in its individual bits, but with that on, it's great. Next thing I'm going to do is assemble the stand. Now, because of this holder, there is one leg already fitted. This is the little storage unit, has a wheel on it and receptacles to hold all the bits of your Abba stand when you're not using it and just want to store it. I think it is about £45. There'll be sales on, but I can tell you it is worth having if you've got to move this stand around the garage. So the legs are colour coded. That's red. There is a red mark in this leg, so I know that goes in there, and you push that one home as far as you can. Next leg is yellow colour coded, and again you push that one in as far as you can. So the leg I already had in is this one, and it has a mark to show you how far to insert it. Next job is to fit this part, which is the lifting mechanism, and that's just a simple bolt through there. There's the bolt. The way the Abba stand works is these two pieces here, these clamp onto your swing arm fittings. Now you need a kit for the bike you've got, so you buy these adapters that slide in. Obviously I've got the one for the Tiger Sport, and what you do is you take these bits off, I'll show you that in a minute, clamp this onto your swing arm, and then you can lift the bike up off the ground. You do get an Allen key with the stand, but it's just a straightforward 6mm Allen key, and these don't have to be very tight, just enough to make sure they don't come loose when you're moving the stand around. The wheels have locks on them to lock them in place when you've put your stand where you need it to be. To fit the stand on the Tiger Sport, we need to take these bits out. These are similar to how a lot of windscreen fasteners go on, in that it's got a rubber tube with a nut in the end. There we go. And there'll be a rubber O-ring in there we need to get out. Let's just get that O-ring out. There he is. I'll quickly do the other side. So I mentioned you need the specific fitting kit for your bike. So this is the part for here, and you see that's got a hole in it. So that fits in that hole and then just clamps up against this nut. So it is important you buy the right fitting kit for your bike, or you could do damage to your swing arm, and that would be expensive. So while we're getting ready to put the bike on its stand, this piece you need to slide onto the part of the stand. This piece here, that comes underneath the bike, so you need to make sure that's close by. Now you can't use your side stand and you can't use your centre stand when you do this. So first few times this is very nerve-wracking, but I do have a much better solution, which again costs a bit more money, but the chances are you might have one of these. I'll show that afterwards. Now I would recommend first few times you do it, you get a friend to help till you've got the confidence. And what we've got to do is we've got to lift the bike off its stand and put this into here so it's holding the bike up, and that's all that's going to be holding your bike. push this forward. And we just raise it till it's the right height. Which is there. You can see that went in. And now the scary bit, we've got to hold the bike. I'm trying to fit the other side in, which I've done. Now that bike isn't pedalled at all yet, but what I have to do is get around the other side to tighten the nut up and lock these wheels, just so this bit doesn't move. Now I'm going to tighten thumb screw here first. What that does is it stops this moving. Now we've got to secure this by tightening up this, which is the 6mm Allen key, and I do like to do this one pretty tight, because if this slides out your bike will fall off the stand. Once that's in place we can start tightening this. Now this shouldn't feel tight. If it is, you haven't got it fitted properly. It should turn quite freely, but you don't need to turn it very far. You just need it till there's a slightest bit of resistance against your bearings, because all you need it in is a few millimeters either side to make sure it's got the bike clamped. Just tighten that up, and now there's hardly any movement on there at all. That means that bike's now secure in the Abba stand. This is a hydraulic lift, this is a release. So if you turn it anti-clockwise, the lift will lower. If you turn it clockwise, you can then start lifting the bike up. Now what I like to do when it's just off the ground, I like to give the bike another wiggle. And as you can see, that's not going anywhere. Now by default, it will lift the back wheel only. So as you can see, that front wheel is staying on the ground and the back wheel is coming up. So that's one way of lifting your bike. All you need to be careful of if you've got a sports bike with a long fairing is that the angle you tip it at, the bodywork doesn't hit this. But this allows you to go quite high. That's the top marker where this will go, so we can keep lifting this up and up, and that's pretty much the maximum height. You get this safety peg with the stand, and it's vital you put that through there and then lower this, undo this a tiny bit, just slowly, and you will see the weight go onto the peg. So now the hydraulic ram is not holding the bike up, it's this peg, which means if this was to fail, your bike won't come crashing down. It's quite tiring pumping that thing, but there you go, that's your bike up in the air. Lets you get at the underside and give that a good clean. So that is the stoppy position on the Skylift. So to change your bike now, that from the stoppy position to anything else, remember we've lowered it on this peg, so I now need to raise it so that peg becomes loose, and we take it out. We very slowly turn this and the lift will start to lower, and the more you turn it the faster it will come down. I like it to come down nice and slow. And we wait until the back wheel touches the ground and takes a little bit of the weight of the bike. That's it lowered. So we do have a bit I haven't used yet, and that's this bit, and this goes through here, and this is what we use to change the bike position when we lift it. So this is a single-sided swing arm, so I need an adapter. It's this fella here, again it's part of the kit that goes in there. We can change how it lifts the bike by using a strap. So this is another part. It was screwed in down here, but we're going to do a different kind of lift this time. So just screw this in here. Then we get a strap, which we hook around these two. Now when we lift the bike, this bar and this are going to be kept hopefully the same height. Now you've got your whole bike in the air. So that is very useful for working on the underside, working on your wheels, and it is really stable. So that is horizontal lifting both wheels off the ground. The third method that this can do is the wheelie position. So for the wheelie position, we need this to stay on the ground and the rest of the bike to lift up. So it is a bit of a pain. You have to unscrew this again, and it screws in where it was originally, which is in the bottom of this black bar here. And of course the strap now goes between here and here. So as we lift this, the back does come up a tiny bit just because it's lacking that belt, but then as we lift the bike, hopefully you can see the front wheel is coming up. A thing to do as well, I have forgotten, is to remove this bar when you're doing that, in case it fouls. And up goes the front. Again, check the clearance of your bike and that bar as you lift it. And when we're at the top, put a safety bolt through and just lower it until the weight is on that bar. And now we've got the bike in a wheelie position. And you can get a look at all of the muck and dirt under there and give that a clean. Or whatever you want to work on, wheels and so on. So there are the three positions of the Abba stand. I'm going to lower that down. Then I'm going to show you the easier and safer way of putting it on the stand on your own, but it does require an additional piece of equipment. Getting the bike off is the same as putting it on. I'm going to undo this, make sure that's tight, and undo this 6mm Allen key here. I'm going to keep tight hold of the bike, loosen this off and remove it. This is probably more risky than putting it on, if I'm honest, because you're not quite sure how the bike's sat. And I can pull this off, and then I kick the stand out the way. Should have took the locks off, and then I try and get my side stand down. And that is the bike back off the stand. Right, so I was going to show you a much safer way. The secret ingredient is a wheel chock. That's the bike up on the wheel chock, which makes fitting this a doddle. We don't have to worry about the side stand. We just push this underneath, we align that side, and then safely and securely we can fit this onto here and into there and tighten it up as we did before. No risk of the bike falling or anything. So front wheel chock, if you can afford one, it makes using your rubber stand a lot easier on your own and a lot safer when you're lowering the bike and taking it off the stand. But there's a point to note: the Skylift always fits on this side, the left hand side of your bike, because if you look how the legs are, that leg is going off, and you know all the weight on your bike is on the front because the engine's here. So always fit it this way around. If you put it on the other side, chances are it'll tip over. So that's how it must go. They'll be on sale now. I think they're £450, £460. I'll put links, but they're more versatile than a lift for a lot of work, because you can get your wheels off, you can drop your forks out, whereas with a lift it's actually on the lift and you have to jack it up from below. It definitely has its place. If you can only afford one thing to get your bike off the ground, I would definitely say the Skylift is worth buying. If you've got the room to leave it assembled, brilliant. If you haven't, this little beastie which I got for Christmas, that enables you to put your Skylift away and move it around the garage, and it goes flat against a wall rather than sticking out. Right, let's get the Tiger off and I'll show you how to convert that to a cruiser. So to convert the stand to a cruiser lift, we then get the cruiser lift assembly, which you buy separately. So that's now the cruiser lift in place, and this has been set up for the Thruxton. I had to also buy these because there's a little bit of metal work on the Thruxton that if you just have the bare lift, it fouls with the metal. So the cruiser lift, by far the easiest. Just shove it under the bike, line it up, lift it up, and you're done. And that's the bike on there and up in the air. I know you can, if you strip a load down on the Thruxton, use the Skylift on it, because the swing arm is here. So the Skylift, very versatile. You can make it a cruiser lift, a sports bike lift, adventure bike lift. It does them all. That's it for today. If you've got any questions on the Skylift, pop them in the comments. Happy to answer all of those. And this is going out round about New Year, so hope you have a great 2025. Let's hope the summer is a bit better than 2024. So keep safe, keep riding, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.